What's up, everybody? It's been a while, but I am Is Nefarious, and I am here with a edition of the Fantasy Report. I am now a couple weeks behind. Didn't really want to get to this point, but it is what it is. So, let's dive right into it. Fantasy Report, for those of you that don't know, it's fantasy football based on the statistics and overall play of players in the Premier Madden League. So this has nothing to do with the NFL or anything like that. It's all Premier Madden based statistics. So all the stats you're going to see are from week 11, since this is going to be our week 11 report. If you're interested in the Premier Madden League and everything it has to offer, go ahead and go to the website premiermadden.com. We got an information bar at the top. It says apply, has a different other choices as well, but you're gonna hit apply. It's gonna take you to a form. You fill out the form. The form is gonna get emailed to our commissioner. Our commissioner is gonna look it over and then possibly invite you to a tournament, Premier Madden League tournament, so we could potentially get you into the league and get another stable user into the league. We got certain users that aren't as stable. We actually just replaced somebody that was with us in Madden 19 into Madden 20. We just replaced him because he wasn't really active. So there's always going to be spots open. Go to premiermadden.com, hit apply, and hopefully one day you'll be in the league. Let's jump right into the slideshow. So we're gonna jump into the pick'em results, and as you can see here, we had Natural getting his third win on the season with 187.18, and then we had Nefarious, myself, right after him at 159.64. I have 4 wins on the season. Now we got Burn in third. He was at 150.58. He has 0 wins so far. Then we had Fallen in fourth. He had 127.04 points, um, which is pretty bad for him. But he has 4 wins as well. So at the top of the standings, you got me, Fallen, and then you got Natural following 4, 4, and 3. We've been the only people to win this season so far. So far, nobody else. Bacon, the Jets user, has played. As you can see, Burns there. I think Chums, the Jaguars user, has played as well. None of them gonna win yet. It's only been myself, Natural, and Fallen. Natural's won 3 weeks out of, I would say, five. When we made this video, so 5 or 6 weeks. So week 11, I would say he was in the fantasy server about week 6. So it actually might be four or five. So he's been performing really well. He puts a lot of thought into it. He knows a lot of the users, so he's been doing really well this season. Let's jump into his team. We'll take a look here. He had Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback with 29.18 points. Then he had Ito Smith, his running back, one with 17.6 points. Then he had Melvin Gordon the third, his RB2. He had 63.8 points. He had over 400 yards. We'll get into it in the team of the week because there's going to be nobody really beating him. Um, we had T. Higgins as his wide receiver one. He had 26.4 points. And then we had Calvin Ridley, his wide receiver two. He had 9.2 points. Then he had Grant Calcaterra with 22.8 as his tight end. And then we had Leonard Fournette as his flex with 10.2. Steven Hauschka was his kicker at 3 points. And then his Bears defense got him a total of 5 points. And that was pretty much his team. 187.18. The big reason was Melvin Gordon at that RB2 slot. So a huge week from him. Let's jump into the team of the week. So we're going to start with a quarterback. So we got Patrick Mahomes, who is going to be the quarterback of the week. He had 361 yards for 14.44 points. Then he had 2 passing touchdowns for 8 points, 2 interceptions for -4 points. And then he had 29 rushing yards for 2.9 points and 2 rushing touchdowns. He had a grand total of 33.34 points, so a good solid week from him as well. Patrick Mahomes, you don't really see on his list as much. He's got a really balanced user in KC. Likes to throw the ball as well as run the ball. So that's why you really don't see him. It's kind of like Mitch Trubisky with the Bears. He's the best user in the league right now, but you don't really see Mitch Trubisky on this list because he's not putting up crazy numbers because usually he's out ahead and things like that, and he's killing some clock. Not the same exact situation with Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs user's not as good as Mole, but he's still pretty good where, he's running the ball, killing some clock, managing the game a little more than just airing it out with Patrick Mahomes. Let's jump into the running back. So we had Melvin Gordon here, like I mentioned. He had 441 yards for 44.1 points. Then he had 3 rushing touchdowns for 18 points, 1 reception for 1 point, and then 7 receiving yards for 0.7 points for a grand total of 63.8 points. I mean, this man was running all over the Buffalo Bills. This is a game record. He dismantled the Buffalo Bills defense by himself. Um, don't know what happened there. I mean, it was a close game, even though Melvin Gordon was absolutely going bonkers. But I don't know what happened with his run defense. Like that's something you can't let happen. For over 400 yards is, I mean, over 300 is bad. Over 200 in this league is I mean, it's a good week, but it's happened so often. But over 400, that's too much. But congratulations to Melvin Gordon, 63.8 points with over 400 yards rushing. Let's jump into the wide receiver of the week, and we have one of my own, New Orleans Saints, Michael Thomas, who had a really good week against the Carolina Panthers. As you can see here, he had 6 receptions for 6 points, 203 yards for 20.3 points, and then 2 receiving touchdowns for 12 points. Like I said, Michael Thomas is my guy. Really been using him more often recently. Starting to let his X Factor ability really carry me in the passing game. Um, Tried it a little bit with this week, but with backup quarterback, didn't really work out as much. Seems like the overall rating of the quarterback and wide receiver combo um, matters. Like if I had Drew Brees throwing the ball, he probably would have came down with some of those throws. But with Kyle Allen, my backup, being a 71 overall, he really didn't. He really didn't have a shot. Um, but like I said, this was actually week 11 with the Panthers. Had a really good game. Really glad to finally get him into the mix. Hopefully, we'll see him more on this list. Let's jump into the tight end. We had Grant Calcaterra, the Oklahoma Sooners um, alumni. Now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he had 4 receptions for 4 points, 128 yards for 12.8 points, and then 1 receiving touchdown for 6 points. He's been on the list a couple of times already. Grant Calcaterra has been playing really well this season. It seems like he's got a new weapon to use instead of Juju Smith-Schuster. 22.8 points is a really solid week. I think this might be his third time on this list already in 11 weeks. So he's been performing really, really well. Let's jump into the defense of the week. And we have the Broncos defense, who had 7 sacks, 5 turnovers, 2 defensive touchdowns, and 11 points allowed. Um, the Denver Broncos, like I said, really good week from them. 33 total points. The sacks get him 7. The 5 turnovers get him 10. The defensive touchdowns get him 12. And then the allowing 11 points gets you 4 for a total of 33. Uh, I don't know exactly who we played, but a really solid weekend. But actually, might have been the Raiders. Seeing the turnovers, but I would have to go back and really double check. We are in week 14 now, so it's kind of escaped me. I've been doing, banging out all the graphics for most of these already, and kind of getting them all bundled into one, and then doing a mass release. So that's probably why I can't remember who he played, but really solid week from that defense. Let's jump into week 12. So our quarterbacks are Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. Then we have Bryce Perkins of the Cincinnati Bengals, and then we have Josh Rosen against of the Miami Dolphins against the Oakland Raiders. Speaking of Daniel Jones, the user natural has become more of a passing user this season. I mean, he's been slinging it everywhere. I mean, he has his turnovers, but he has a lot of yardage, a lot of touchdowns. He's going up against the Cardinals, who aren't the best user, especially defensively. So I think he could have a really good week going into this week. So Daniel Jones is definitely somebody I would look to start in my pickup lineup. When we look at the running backs, we had Tariq Cohen of the Chicago Bears going up against the Green Bay Packers. Then we had DeAndre Swift, the drafted DeAndre Swift from the Georgia Bulldogs. He is now with the Seattle Seahawks. He's going up against the Los Angeles Rams. And then we had Tony Pollard, who's been getting a lot of touches ahead of Zeke Elliott. He's with the Dallas Cowboys. He's going up against the Cleveland Browns. Speaking about DeAndre Swift in the Seattle Seahawks offense, I mean, he's used everywhere, and especially in a PPR league, he's going to do real damage. He's used in the passing game, he's used in the running game, and he's really athletic, really shifty, really good in open space. So if you're looking for a matchup, he's going up against the Los Angeles Rams, who undoubtedly are probably the worst defensive team in the league, especially against running backs. He struggles mightily against running backs in the running game and also in the passing game. So I would definitely look for that matchup. You take a look at the wide receivers. So we got Marquise Goodwin against the Tennessee Titans. He plays for the Buffalo Bills now. Then we got the Carolina Panthers' T.J. Vasher against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was drafted in this past draft. And then we got Houston Texans' Will Fuller against the Detroit Lions. T.J. Vasher, 6'6", big body, and that Carolina offense has been evolving its game, not evolving, revolving its game around T.J. Vasher in the passing game. He had Christian McCaffrey, big part of his offense last season. This season, he's been going away from Christian McCaffrey a little more. He's been using T.J. Vasher, especially high point in the ball. TJ's able to go up there and make the catch. He's going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who aren't the best user. Last time they played, I believe TJ Vasher might have had a touchdown or two, so I expect more of the same this week. You take a look at the tight ends. I had Noah Fant of the Denver Broncos up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then I had Zach Ertz of the Philadelphia Eagles against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then I had Ian Thomas of the New England Patriots against the New York Jets. Zach Ertz, somebody that's not used much in the offense in Philadelphia, but I think that's turning a corner. He's been using them a lot more recently. Once he starts getting a hang of throwing Zach Ertz the ball, I mean, I've played against Zach Ertz in different leagues, and he's tough to stop. He's really sure-handed. If you don't double him, he's gonna catch it. Like it's tough to stop Zach Ertz. So I would definitely look for him to make some noise and do some damage in these last couple of weeks of the season. So Zach Ertz against that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who is suspect to their situation. If they're playing a good user, it kind of shows that they aren't as good as they are. It depends on really the matchup. Um, I think this is the type of user that could take advantage of that. You take a look at the defenses. I got the New York Giants against the Arizona Cardinals. I got the Miami's defense against the Oakland Raiders. And then I got the Buffalo Bills defense against the Tennessee Titans. And you might be asking why the Buffalo Bills defense, especially, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they went up against the Los Angeles Chargers and just gave up over 400 yards to Melvin Gordon. Well, the Tennessee Titans are not the Los Angeles Chargers and Melvin Gordon, and Derrick Henry's not Melvin Gordon. I think their defense fits for a game like this. Tennessee throws the ball a little more than the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers just run the ball about 80% of the time. So I think their defense is better fit for the passing game. I see the Titans be trying to pass on the Buffalo Bills, especially getting down early, and then the Buffalo Bills capitalizing on mistakes. So that's the main reason why I have the Buffalo Bills there. And those are pretty much my pick'ems for the week, and that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you're enjoying all the content. If you do, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Tell your friends everything. I know if you're not in the Premier Madden League, it's kind of, you kind of think, why do I have interest? I mean, I I think it's interesting either way. So that's just me. Hopefully, you find it interesting, even though you're not in a league watching. Thank you for watching, and I'm out of here.